Once again, we're going to take a little walk with the wildlife. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about the wild turkey. The wild turkey, believe it or not, was even considered being our national symbol. Benjamin Franklin thought so much of the wild turkey that he wrote letters to his daughter about how important the wild turkey is to our country and that it should be considered as our national symbol. But fortunately, the eagle became the symbol and it was never voted on about the turkey. The turkey was such a prominent animal when the settlers first came here that they were dependent on it for much of their food. So much so that after the years of hunting, the turkey, like the bison, almost became extinct. After World War I, many people realized that the restoration of this turkey needed to take place if it was going to continue here in the United States. Restoration efforts started here in Kentucky in 1978 and went through 1997, in which almost 7,000 turkeys were relocated to 430 sites here in Kentucky. The number at that point was a little over 2,000 birds were estimated to be in Kentucky in the late 80s and early 90s. With all this restoration, the number of turkeys we now have in Kentucky is over 250,000 birds. So these numbers have increased 100-fold. Turkey hunting is one of the biggest sports in Kentucky now, with the spring season being the second weekend of April up through early May. People can now take 2 turkeys, both of which have to be bearded turkeys. So the turkeys have come a long, long way here in Kentucky. Currently, there are over 90,000 turkey hunters in the state of Kentucky. If you can imagine how much money that relates to as far as buying tags, licenses, food, ammunition, shotguns, camouflage, and all the many things that go with the turkey hunting. Right now, when this is being filmed, is early February, but people are already getting started thinking about the wild turkeys. We have a couple of specimens here behind us that are excellent specimens for Kentucky birds. The prize birds, number one, need to be mature, have a good long beard and full tail feathers and large spurs, which we'll talk about a little bit more in just a minute. This turkey is considered to be in the strut, which is seen a lot during the breeding season, which he's trying to impress the females. This turkey in particular is trying to gobble while he's in the tree, which is kind of a locating thing. These are very, very beautiful specimens. Of these 90,000 hunters, approximately 40% of them will take a bird, and they're allowed 2 birds, only one in a day. They are allowed two bearded birds. Now, some of those birds may be hens. Up to 20% of the turkeys here in Kentucky, of the hens, can have beards. And the hen's beards are usually much smaller, but they are visible beards, and as long as a turkey has a visible beard, he or she is fair game. People work really hard to become expert callers, and we're going to show you a few of the calls that are sometimes used here in a few minutes. But there are many different turkey calling contests around the country, and it's a pretty big deal to be an expert turkey caller. This past year here in Kentucky, with the fall season ended not too long ago, over 40,000 turkeys were taken here in the state of Kentucky. So if you can imagine, if there's 225,000 birds, 40,000 of those were taken. But I honestly think that 225,000 is a low estimate for birds here in Kentucky, because we seem to be seeing much more than that. There is now, starting in 1990, there became a season in all 49 states here in the United States. There are 6 subspecies of these turkeys. Some of them, the eastern turkey is the only one in this part of the country, but as you go south and west, there are different subspecies of the wild turkey. They'll range, the average weight of these gobblers is usually about 25 pounds. The average weight of a hen is about 14 pounds. And right now, the record gobbler in the United States was a 38-pound gobbler, which is absolutely a huge bird. Here we have a couple of examples of some typical gobblers. here in the state of Kentucky. These are excellent gobblers. If you'll notice, when a gobbler is strutting, he has these caruncles on his head which become engorged with blood, and when they do, they enlarge and turn red, which shows the hens that he's interested in them. And it also kind of lets competing gobblers know that he's a mature strutting bird. As you'll notice, the tail feathers, a mature bird is going to have all the tail feathers even, whereas a jake or turkey that's under 2 years of age will have 2 of the tail feathers in the middle that are shorter. So if you see a strutting gobbler that has some shorter tail feathers, he is not fully mature and is considered a jake from the previous year. Spurs are also very important when looking at maturity on turkeys. As you can see on these guys here, they've got a good spur. We like for them to at least be 3/4 of an inch, and hopefully up to 1 1/4 inches, maybe up of really mature bird up to 1.5 inches. These spurs are used for fighting, and if you're ever out in the wild, turkeys have a pecking order. The most mature birds get to call the shots and do most of the brooding with the hens. They're polygamous, which means one male turkey will mate with as many hens as he possibly can and spread his genes. And like any species of animal, the hens try to choose the most mature, most impressive gobblers. So the amount of strutting, the redness in the head, their ability to fight other gobblers, all these things come into play because they want their babies to be sired by the very best of their species. You notice the beard. The beards are another sign of maturity. A jake will have a 1 or 2 inch beard. A 2-year-old turkey may get up to 4 or 5 inches, and then when they get to be 3, 4, or 5-year-olds, you're going to have a 9, 10, 11, 12 inch beard. And those are the pride and joys of the hunters. They want those big beards. As you'll see here, this one has probably a good 9 or 10 inch beard. This turkey over here, as we said, he's showing signs of gobbling on the roost. Notice his head is not engorged with the blood as if a strutting turkey was. Now this turkey is unusual in the fact that he has multiple beards. If you'll notice here, he has his main beard, which is a nice good full-length beard, probably 9 or 10 inches long, and then you'll see other minor beards. Here's a beard, here's another small beard, and he even has a 4th one up here at the top. So this particular gobbler had 4 beards, which is very unusual. A lot of times 2 beards are semi-common, 3 beards are a little more rare, but 4 and 5 beards are really uncommon. So that's a true trophy when a person kills one of that nature. As you can see, the shine in the feathers, these are beautiful birds. When they're strutting, they drag their wings on the ground. So a lot of times when you kill a mature gobbler, the edge of his feathers are going to be worn off from all the strutting and dragging on the ground that they do. Here again we're seeing some beautiful spurs, probably about 1 inch long or so. And if you've ever gotten spurred by a turkey, whether it's a wild one or a domestic one, you know just how bad these spurs can hurt a person or another turkey. But you see, after looking at these majestic birds, you understand why they're in such demand by hunters. Their eyesight is absolutely unbelievable. Where deer have their sense of smell to protect them, sense of smell isn't very important to the turkeys. Theirs is their eyesight and their ears, especially their eyesight. Turkeys can see the slightest movement. They could even see a person's eyes blink in the right situation. So that's why they are so hard to hunt, is because of their sense of sight.